percentage of Jews who perished in the Netherlands during World War II exceeded that of any country in Western Europe. Fast forwarding to the present, we have a situation where the Dutch state funds with taxpayer money hundreds of mosques and Islamic organizations headed by radical clerics, the new Nazis, who are committed to the destruction of Dutch society. In 2000, the Arab-European League was permitted to open its first branch in the Netherlands. The League was founded by a former member of Hezbollah, and it's responsible for inciting riots and anti-Semitic violence in the Netherlands. The organization has praised 9/11. It has called for the destruction of Israel. It's supported the insurgency in Iraq, and it has called for the implementation of Sharia law throughout Europe. We're all familiar with the events surrounding the murder of Theo van Gogh, which happened in Amsterdam. This was a reaction to a film he co-produced with Hersey Ali called Submission. And Submission was a film which criticized the treatment of women under Islam. Recently, the Justice Minister in the Netherlands said that he was ready to institute Sharia law throughout the country as soon as the majority voted it in. Well, here to provide us with some insights into the situation in the Netherlands and an understanding of why the Dutch tolerate this and even abet it is Douglas Murray.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's very good to be here with you this weekend. When I talk about jihad and the current war on Islamic fascism, I have a slightly dual role, I find, which is that in Europe I preach and talk pessimism, and in America I preach and talk optimism. And there's a reason for that, which is that it seems to me that the big thing that needs to happen at the moment is that Europeans wake up, but that Americans don't give up on Europe. I say that because Mark Stein, for instance, has just written a wonderful book, I'm sure many of you have read it, America Alone, which seems again to suggest that Europe is simply gone as a continent, that it's over, that it's so over there. Batior, of course, a great scholar and a great writer, came up with this term Eurabia, which has now gained currency in America, which is, I think, very worrying. People too routinely talk about Eurabia. It is still Europe. And if you start calling it Eurabia, if you believe that this is the case, I do worry that you're going to give up on us. I do worry you're going to give up on the good people of Europe who are still there. So please, avoid that temptation and avoid the schadenfreude of thinking they've mucked up again, we're not going to help, we need you now. The situation in Holland is desperately worrying. There's no doubt about that. Demographics, for one, are against us. More than half of the children in Amsterdam schools are non-Dutch at the moment. Rotterdam is about to have a Muslim majority. The 4 largest cities in the Netherlands are predicted to have Muslim majorities in the next decade. The Dutch government in 2004 released a survey which said that by 2017, the majority of people in Holland would be non-Dutch. As Geert Wilders said, an MP in the Dutch parliament, we will lose our country, it's as simple as that. And when people say, why should we bother? Why should we care about this? It's only Holland or something like this. I would suggest this. Many people, particularly conservatives, like to come up with the phrase, well, at least it won't happen in my lifetime. This will happen in our lifetimes. This isn't a distant future. 11 years, ladies and gentlemen, 11 years till you lose the Netherlands. 2 people who did wake up to this early were Pim Fortuyn and Theo van Gogh, and of course both of them are now dead. There are 2 speeches by both these men which haunt me really, apart from anything else, because they provided a kind of very saddening prophecy of both of their demise. Pim Fortuyn gave a speech just a few months before his death when he left something called the Liberal Netherlands Party and founded his own party, which in 4 months got a sweeping victory in the elections without, then it was, their leader who was killed shortly before the election. Pim said when he left the Leefbaar Netherlands Party, he gave a speech in which he said to his party, he said, "I've kept my cool until now, but I won't hold it any longer." He said, "It is 5 minutes to 12. It is 5 minutes to 12, not just in the Netherlands, but in all of Europe." That clock is still ticking, but without anything being done, it's just a little closer to midnight. When Theo van Gogh was still alive, just shortly before his death, he made a speech, a characteristic speech of Van Gogh, in which he appeared in Amsterdam dressed as an imam, and he had a strap-on false beard. It was a sort of typically Van Gogh appearance, extremely tasteless but very funny as well, in which, among other things, he said that his so-called conversion to Islam benefited him in 2 ways. He said, first of all, he'd found a religion in which women knew their place, and secondly, he'd found some clothes that fitted. But Van Gogh finished that speech in 2004, shortly before his death, saying, he said, "Allah is the scourge which will conquer Amsterdam. Sleep well, good Amsterdammers." The truth is that in the 2 years, or to the month, since Van Gogh was slaughtered on the streets of Amsterdam, the Dutch people and the Amsterdammers have indeed gone back to sleep. Largely a political problem, largely the fact that the right in Holland has split without a leader since Fortuyn's death. They don't know who to back, where to go, turnout's been dropping, and the parties that do exist, such as Wilders' party, have split and find no coherent voice.